Sirius XMU Sessions.
You're listening to Sirius XMU Sessions. I'm Jenny Ellis-Q, and I'm excited to be joined in a kind of different location than usual by Alex and Matt from Arctic Monkeys. Hi, dudes.
Hello, Jenny.
I want to start because I notice, we're on location. We're using a portable recorder here, and I'm immediately reminded of your little Tascam, Alex, which is considerably larger than this device here.
Yeah, it is.
But the new album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, I know a large portion of it was actually recorded in your house on, a fairly simple piece of recording equipment. So tell me a little bit about what you like about recording that way and recording at home, and, just sort of how that helped open up some ideas for this album.
Well, as you say, it is a recording device, Jenny, but I think in this instance I very much see it as a writing device as well. And it was, I'd introduced a piano to the room where I work at home. Yeah, it's all started sort of recording these piano ideas on the Tascam 388 and sitting there with a microphone, sort of a bit like I am now, hooked up to it, and it was that way that I wrote a lot of the lyrics and recorded a lot of what became the vocals on the LP as we hear it now. I mean, there were some other parts that were kept from them original demos, but mostly it's the vocals. A lot of the drums and a lot of the rhythm tracks and everything else basically we recorded at other studios after. But the thing, being able to flesh out the ideas, I suppose, on the 8-track gave me something more to. You sort of inspired me to write in a different way than I would have if I was just sat there with an acoustic guitar. I think it's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, totally. And did you used to record that way, like when you were a kid and you guys were first starting the band? Did you start to record ideas at home?
Funny you should say that, Jenny. We did, actually. Yeah, I had a very similar machine.
Oh, that's good.
But a cassette version. And so I feel like in the very beginning of the band, almost before we'd even done that much, before we'd played a show, certainly, I remember like when we were still like in my mum's garage and we were messing about with a similar machine, but then that all went away.
I'm guessing it probably felt more like the reverse, like the recorder was like a limitation in the early days when the better thing to do would be just get in a room and start playing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I suppose like for them first few records, I can't remember really. Well, certainly the first one. We just wanted to get out of the studio as quick as possible. Really, is our mind.
It felt like we were rarely in that room, like on that side of the glass.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what that bit looked like. I just remember trying to get to the end of a song and not make any mistakes.
And then
that stage.
Yeah, get out and like go and play
a gig.
Yeah, something. We have become marginally more engaged in it.
Now you try to spend as much time in the studio as possible. So the other key kind of writing tool, as you mentioned, Alex, is the piano that was an addition to your home a couple of years ago now. So when you first sat down at a piano that now it lives in your house with you, it's like a roommate, that right. Bad boy in the corner.
Yeah.
Did it take a while to start to get comfortable with it, or did it feel like you just sort of were instantly sucked in, kind of?
I think probably the latter. I've played a bit of piano prior to that point. I had lessons as a kid for a moment, and we had a keyboard in my mum and dad's house growing up, so I would like play from time to time. But it's more recently that I've become excited about it, and it became. I've never really written that much on it before, with one or two exceptions. It sort of changed everything up from the writing point of view. I think I don't know, the types of things I wrote on that led to writing words differently and melodies differently, and
because it must all just feel different when you're just physically, just the way your hand, everything must happen differently from
I think that's it. I think I'd sort of way it's ended up, there's a lot of guitar on the record as well, but just it wasn't written really like on the guitar.
I know you had mentioned that one of the songs, Star Treatment, the first song on the album, was you actually sat down at a piano when you were working on the second last Shadow Puppets album and started kind of poking around on something that developed into that later. So I want to, and it's the first track on the album. I know it's one of your favorites on this new LP.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what you remember from, now that the piano's in your house. Was that the first song that really kind of took shape?
That was probably one of the first things I played on that piano when it showed up, yeah. I remember playing that part around the time I wrote the Everything You've Come to Expect song, which was towards the end of that writing and recording of that Puppets album. So yeah, but I'm almost certain when I first sat on the piano stool, that part would have been what was under my fingers.
And obviously there's a theme throughout the album. There's sort of some motifs. So outer space stuff is a motif that keeps coming back up, and the concept of the album is a lunar kind of resort. But was that, was that just an automatic writing thing? I mean, did just the early phases of writing that song organically have this space idea? What brought the space idea up, Alex?
Yeah.
What got us to this? What got us to have space?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a few things, I think, but one of them I think is the sort of some of the things most of the things when I'd sit at a piano, it could get a bit K-jazz. And it has done, as you can hear. And like I say, I grew up with a keyboard in our house. My dad plays a bit of piano. He would often play things on this piano. More often than not, that would fall in the jazz bracket.
The jazz bracket.
Which I think is sort of rubbed off on me one way or another. So, but what I'm getting to here is, there was something about those types of things that I'd play that just seemed inherently sci-fi somehow.
Yeah.
May not make a lot of sense, but there was something about that like the loungy that just seemed to match up with the sort of outer space lexicon.
Right. And I know you also just sort of, not that you haven't always been kind of a fan of Kubrick and a film buff, but that I know that was an element as well. I wonder if it's also maybe just like the era. It's more the era than it is more the era of like a 2001 Space Odyssey that sounds like jazzy lounge music than it is outer space as a concept. It's more like that aesthetic has like cool vintage aesthetic to it as well.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's like the time that was happening. It sounds more like that rather than the location.
There's like another layer in between it. In the I think I became interested in the idea of science fiction, especially in films, and how it uses space travel or worlds to sort of explore ideas that are rooted in this one.
Right. Exaggerated futuristic versions of the absurdity of the actual world.
I think that's how it started, was with there's a song on there, Science Fiction, that is sort of looking at that, and then I think once I'd gone there, that sort of theme spilled into the rest of it.
1984, 2019. Maybe I was a little too wild in the 70s. Rocket ship grease down the cracks of my knuckles. Karate bandana, warp speed chic. Hair down to there, impressive mustache. Love came in a bottle with a twist of cap. Let's all have a swig and do a hot lap. So who you gonna call? The mighty police. Baby, that isn't how they look tonight. It took the light absolutely forever to get to your eyes. I just wanted to be one of those ghosts you thought that you could forget, and then I haunt you via the rear view mirror on a long drive from the back seat. But it's alright, 'cause you love me, and you recognize that it ain't how it should be. Your eyes are heavy and the weather's getting ugly. So pull over, I know the place. Don't you know an apparition is a cheap date? What exactly is it you've been drinking these days? Jukebox in the corner, long hot summer. They've got a film up on the wall, and it's dark enough to dance. What do you mean you've never seen Blade Runner? Or maybe I was a little too wild in the 70s. Back down to earth with a lounge singer shimmer. Elevator down to my make-believe residency. From the honeymoon suite, 2 shows a day, 4 nights a week. Easy money. So who you gonna call? The mighty police. So who you gonna call? The mighty police. Oh, baby, that is not how they look tonight. It took the light absolutely forever to get to your eye. And as we gaze skyward, ain't it time early? It's the star treatment. Oh, it's the star treatment. Yeah, it's the star treatment.
You're listening to Sirius XMU Sessions. It's Jenny Eliscu. Arctic Monkeys are performing music from their awesome new album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, for us this